Tonight on Podcast Them Down, Symphony Excellent. Hail Metal Nation, it is I, Tim, from American power metal band Burning Shadows and dual violin folk metal band Eisenmore, recently vacated Graves True Zombie Metal, and Fade to Black Metallica Tribute. I am joined today by Dave, drummer of Burning Shadows and Eisenmore, and special guest, rare guest. How lucky you are to be listening, because Mark, the lead violinist, first chair of Eisenmore, is with us. And,
glad to be here.
I would play the applause, but then the music would stop. So
hooray!
Hooray! Yeah. So, oh shit. And I have to hit record. So now I have to download the stream. Great. So I download the stream, add the beginning, and then I can use the rest of the recording. We're good. We're fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I get to play this again.
We'll do it.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today.
I never get sick of that. And I've been playing it a lot lately. So, we all attended Symphony X at Baltimore Soundstage on June whatever day that was. Yeah, so I don't know when this is going to air, so maybe it was a long time ago at this point. But yeah, so it was Symphony X, Haken, and opening band.
Trope.
But importantly, we all learned how to pronounce Haken.
Yes, so I've been calling them Haken Haken for a long time because it wasn't clear. Let's start with Haken Haken. Haken.
Yes, with Schrodinger's band is now no more.
Yeah, well, but they still have that like ambiguity of like, is the next part gonna suck or not? Because they're they're this new generation of prog, right? And it's there's a lot of really good parts, and then they just go and ruin it later in the song. And like I don't understand why people are into them. Because it's only 50% good.
Warning,
you know? This
is going to be a talking episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't like Haken Haken, and don't send me more Haken videos to watch. I've seen a bunch of them. I tried to like them. I didn't try as hard as Mike did to like Opeth, you know. Mike tried very, very hard to get into Opeth. Wait, I tried Mike a little Wilson? Bit to enjoy. Yeah, Mike Wilson from Eisenmore. Oh, wow. So I tried. Heavens. I gave it more effort than typical to like Haken, and it didn't take, and it's not going to take. So stop trying.
It hasn't taken. Is that what you're trying to say, Tim?
Shut up! Boo! Boo! There's a version of the booze that ends with "You suck." I'm trying to find that one.
That'll be great. I have to say, and I said this at the show, and I'm going to stand behind this. For those of you who are out there as real-time strategy game fans who remember StarCraft fondly, and maybe like me have the original soundtrack on your MP3 carrying device, it reminded me of Star Trek, like Terran. StarCraft music, excuse me. Jason Hayes, the composer for that. Shout out to you, Jason Hayes. I like it for playing video games. I don't know that I would listen to Haken, and I definitely don't remember what any of their songs at the concert sounded like, and I definitely saw 4 or 5 of them by the time we got there.
Well, oh yeah, I happened to get there just as they started. I was lucky enough to.
Excellent time.
Yeah, so they also did a part of the Yes song "Owner of a Lonely Heart," and I had to be told that's what it was. Because by you, Dave. Because it sounded like he was trying to be Sting. I thought it was a Police song.
So this is fair, and that affectation on "Owner of a Lonely Heart" is there as well, like the original. I thought it was a fairly faithful cover. I thought it was a good cover. I think they did a good job with it. But like, why? It's like, if you want to play a pop song, go for it. If you want to play a Yes song as a prog band, there are a million to choose from. None of them really work well when you're the opener because you need time for it. But I just didn't get it, Mark.
So with the cover specifically, I don't know why you would work a cover into your "We're the Second Band" opening for Symphony X set. Like, I mean, they certainly have their own draw, but it was confusing to me, and it was like their second to last song or last song too.
Yeah, I think it was
something like that.
I have it here. Yeah, it was in the middle of 1985, which was their second to last song.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, like I said this at the show as well. Haken for me takes a composite of a lot of things that I like in music and jumbles them together into something that just doesn't click with me at all. Like, there's lots of individual parts that are really good, but I can't really remember any of the songs. I can just remember headbanging to some parts that were like some of that, kind of new progressive, genty, like happier Meshuggah stuff, basically. And then it kind of goes into a Jordan Rudess fever dream afterwards. And it's just kind of bounced around a little bit too much for me, I guess.
I also noticed Haken, like, it seems like when they've exhausted an idea, they all stop and then there's a keyboard part.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess the things that, like, and I want to touch on this more when we talk about Symphony X, but like the bands that we hear them once and immediately those songs are in our head, or like something resonates with us instantly when we hear or see them for the first time. I'm sure that is the experience that plenty of Haken's fans have, but it was not that way for me. It was like, they struck me as one of many bands that I've seen at metal shows and festivals, particularly over the years, like, undeniably good at what they're doing, but it just isn't for me.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, right? There are different kinds of bands for different, like, for people to listen to. I have the same problem with Between the Buried and Me. Like,
so does Mike.
I know. We bond over that.
All right, I was thinking we could
Holy moly.
Yeah, let's... Oops. I'm clicking around too many windows.
That's what I did.
This is the opening band. Let's listen to them briefly before moving on. All right, that's all I needed to hear.
Go back. I'm putting my other earbud in.
Well, I'm trying not to get content matched.
Trope gets 2 ears.
All right. There you go. All right, that's enough.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that might be interesting. Hopefully it changes
10,000 Maniacs vibe going on.
Yeah, so that was the band we all missed.
Are they a 3-piece, or did the bass player just not make that part of the video?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
May get back to you on that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Guitar.
Well, they're not on Metal Archives.
No, it appears to only be 3 of them.
Where is Haken from?
The UK. Or UK, as it's known. So,
by so many.
Haken is on Metal Archives.
They have a lot of albums. Well, no, they have a lot of singles.
I didn't.
And a decent number of albums. Way more than we do.
They are prolific.
Wow. That's the best thing they've ever done is play all those Dream Theater songs when they were Mike Portnoy's backing band for Shattered Fortress.
Wait a second, is that how they came about?
They had some kind of Dream Theater connection, and then when Mike Portnoy quit, he did Shattered Fortress, which was his 12-step suite tour. He had Haken do the it was his band. You know how Isan hired Leprous to be his band? Yeah, well, just replace Isan with Mike Portnoy and Leprous with Haken, and there you go.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Good for them.
And they were very, very good at playing Dream Theater. So.
Yeah. I mean, I can believe this from hearing them. You know, it's
funny. What the? I'm looking at these reviews, so you haven't heard them. They haven't aired yet, Mark and Dave, but we did something where we took reviews on Metal Archives, and we took the top and bottom review, and then decided who's right. And I'm looking at some of these.
What did you do it for?
Well, hang on. Live has 2 reviews and it's 100%. I call bullshit on that. And then, I'm seeing 92, 90. This is a bunch of prog nerds. Just people.
Well, and there's very few reviews.
Yeah, but I mean,
what I find hilarious about the reviews on Metal Archives is like Fallujah's page is a really good example of this. Like, they've put out some great albums that I really like, and it's not for everyone, but there are people who write up like a 6-paragraph Fallujah review to give it a 3% because they hated it that much. So all of their albums are like in the 50s or 60s because they're mostly getting really good reviews, and then 5 people come along and give it like 2 out of 100.
Their demo has 100%.
Why does anybody want a live album? I'm sorry, I'm reading the reviews of live, but like
Dave.
No, I wasn't finished. Why does anybody want a live album from a prog band that is going to play their shit note perfect on stage?
Oh yeah, like to a click and all that. Yeah,
like it's amazing.
And prog, prog, they're going to do it exactly right.
It's an amazing experience to see. But if you're sitting at home, why not listen to the album? I don't understand it. Like.
So
that's fair.
As a person who owns plenty of live metal albums that are just like the studio version.
The album that got me into progressive metal was Dream Theater's Live at Budokan. And the crowd energy and the solos in that are, varied and really good.
That is a good retort. Oh.
But also, Tesseract, whom I love, put out a live album last year, like a live recorded in studio but single takes, streamed video production thing. And I honestly think it is the best version of all of their songs because there are slight changes. They are playing to a click, obviously, and there's like some backing tracks, but it's really raw and it's really emotional. And I prefer those versions, even though they were like, recorded in a very sterile environment still. To a lot of the original album tracks because they've also had room to like kind of play those songs for the last 10 years and like
got that,
kind of grow them and learn them and stuff. So, but I am also typically against live albums, but there are definitely like reasons to make exceptions.
And I say this as a Fish fan.
Damn it! All right, everyone,
listen.
Look at your clock. Who had what? 14 minutes in the fish pool. Who had it? Write in, podcast them down, and receive your prize. All right, go ahead.
Claim your weekly reward. I listen to almost nothing but live music at this point, because that's the medium in which it's created. But with metal, I've just I still think that the true beauty of an awesome metal album is frequently achieved in the studio. But Mark, I take all those points, and now I'm curious to hear this Tesseract of like live in studio.
Well, I have a giant mound of live Dream Theater and certain other bands as well. No, I get it. But to your point about live prog, like ultra technical prog, well, I don't know. Dream Theater doesn't really. Yeah, Dream Theater is different live, but some of these bands I bet wouldn't be all that different live. You know, and the reason Dream Theater live is so bad because James LaBrie hasn't been able to sing since 1994.
All right.
All right. Well, back to Haken. So, so one thing about the show that was like a little weird was apparently Symphony X wouldn't share anything. So, any other touring setup. So, and the soundstage stage is not big enough for 2 drum sets and for room to move around. So the drum kit was like off on the side, which is a little weird. I've seen Cynic in particular did that on purpose. They put the drums off on the side so they can kind of like look at each other.
Hey,
But
Tim, you know who else does that?
who say it?
It's Fish.
I need a blub sound like
You mean a water pipe noise?
I think
No,
you just
I
need a
don't
Big
want
Mouth
that.
Bass singing recording.
I no, I'm not gonna put that on there.
Okay.
This is a family fucking show, Dave.
God damn it. But no, I've actually, quite honestly, if we're ever in the position to do that someday, I would like to set up in a unconventional stage arrangement. Because I do enjoy, it was really nice when we rented out Orion Studios to prepare for an Eisenmore show that was canceled due to COVID. It's nice to be able to look at the rest of the band and have that eye contact during a show that, you know, even though Eisenmore is playing to a click, it definitely makes a difference.
I'm looking forward to doing that for Burning Shadows when we play Paths of the Dead, and Pete's gonna have to sing Secret Load. Yeah. So but yeah, Haken was forced off into the corner. I don't think it was a creative choice. It was well, the drums are over there. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with your problems over there.
Right, but who knows? Maybe that will spark a new stage setup for them.
I got it.
It'll be an inspiration.
Okay.
All right. I mean, Haken was good, but Symphony X was the main act. They were touring the United States and later the world, right? Or are they coming
So they're going to Latin America,
Latin America?
which has multiple dates in Brazil and then a handful of other countries, but no, you know, Brazil gets lots of shows.
Brazil's pretty damn big. So 25th anniversary of shows, or as the people in the crowd were quick to point out, 28th anniversary of them being a band, but for various reasons, they had to postpone their 25th anniversary shows. So now it's getting underway, and it was wild. I've been listening to Symphony X personally for a very long time. 20 of those 25 years, or 28 years, I guess, because of Blind Guardian. They were touring with Blind Guardian when they came over from Germany to play their first American tour back in 2002. And as preparation for going to this show that I was fully committed to because, you know, I was Blind Guardian, I bought Twilight in Olympus and was hooked on Symphony X from that minute onwards. The opening track on Twilight in Olympus is just a shred fest, smoke and mirrors. And from that first instance seeing them until now, I don't think there's been a tour that I've missed. So it was a really, really fun evening. It was a kind of a weird retrospective moment to like think, because that was like literally Symphony X was the first like big underground metal show that I went to back in the early 2000s. And it's been a huge part of my life ever since then. So it was a great night. They played a good selection of songs across their career.
They were very
Stop talking
light
to the
on
microphone.
Iconoclast, which I was happy about. That's the only. There are two things I don't like about Symphony X. Just two. And that's most of Iconoclast and the end of the Damnation game. When he keeps going, damn. That's it. Those are the only two things I don't like about Symphony X. So you mentioned their set list. Here is their set list. Nevermore, from the new album. The new album that's 7 years old. Evolution, the Grand Design.
What are their top 5 songs?
Nevermore is the opening track on Underworld.
Underworld. Is that 7 years old?
Yeah, it came out in 2015.
Holy nuts.
Evolution, the Grand Design, Serpent's Kiss, Sea of Lies, Without You, When All Is Lost, Kiss of Fire, Run with the Devil, Set the World on Fire, The Lie of Lies, and Encore, The Odyssey. I know we're going all over the place. I just want to say I got into Symphony X when the New Mythology Suite was the newest album. And they played Jack's. I looked it up. They had a show at Jack's that was September 6th, 2001. So 5 days before 9/11. And I couldn't go to that show because for some reason it was 18 plus. And I turned 18 like 3 months later. So I was all sorts of pissed. And apparently they played most of that album, the New Mythology Suite, at that show. It's not on setlist.fm if you're looking it up. But I hear that that's what they did. And then they so I missed them and I had to wait until after the Odyssey came out. And then they toured with that, and I don't think I ever missed them after that. So
yeah.
So their set list. So the Odyssey. Let's jump right to the encore. Everyone kept going, Odyssey, Odyssey. And so I looked into it, like all the times I've seen Symphony X. They've played the Odyssey as the encore quite a few times. It's not that special. Stop asking for it. As for Divine Wings of Tragedy, we've all seen the Odyssey repeatedly, and if you haven't, educate yourself with some Divine Wings. That's my opinion. We need to hear the other epic, damn it.
That's the odd take, and I tend to agree. Tim, you're objectively correct. I think I've seen the Odyssey 3 times after last week's show.
So I've probably seen it 4 times because I know I went to a show without you.
That's right.
And I have seen Divine Wings live before, but only onto so I need to see it again.
So Divine Wings of Tragedy just shuffled onto my car recently because I had dropped a bunch of the Symphony X albums onto my phone, like, I don't know, a year ago, actually. Because I was just, trying to freshen up the music for the car rides, and Divine Wings of Tragedy comes on, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, so this is their other long song. It's been a while since I heard it. I kind of understand why they play the Odyssey instead of this. Because it's a little more of that, early prog rawness, where they're kind of jumping back and forth between drastically different ideas a lot. And, I just felt like it would kind of leave people confused and wondering, is this going somewhere, or is it just, a jumble?
So would you say the Odyssey is more composed, more complete, more...
Yeah, I think it's... I think it's more accessible and memorable and, singable, despite being, 3 to 5 minutes longer, or 10 minutes longer if it's the live version, which we can get into later.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see how Michael J. Romeo's compositional style progresses, because we've got Divine Wings of Tragedy, which is on the Divine Wings of Tragedy, right? The album.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
Sorry, I'm blanking on their album titles. It's Divine Wings of Tragedy, correct?
The Divine Wings of Tragedy, yes.
Yes, so that's the third record, right? Then Twilight and Olympus is out in 98. It's 4th. New Mythology Suite in 2000. Right?
I know.
So we hear him moving from Divine Wings of Tragedy to the New Mythology Suite, which takes like kind of the leitmotif idea, because there are themes that run through that entire album, though it isn't itself necessarily like that long epic, to the Odyssey, which is very much kind of Stravinsky. Well, maybe this is me taking from the liner notes, but Stravinsky meets John Williams. Like, kind of, there's a lot of very clear Star Wars score moments in the Odyssey.
Now that you say that, Mike from Division was at the show, and he knew they were going to play the Odyssey. And he says to me,
Of course.
I don't like circus metal. Was it circus metal or Disney metal? He said one of those two. I don't like Disney metal. I'm going to go now. And he left.
Yeah, I saw him leave.
Yeah, that's why he left. He doesn't like the Odyssey because of the John Williams-ness of it, I suppose.
I've got the collector's edition of the Odyssey that I purchased at Tower Records Low those many years ago. And Michael J. Romeo does talk about it to some degree, the inspiration, like the composers that inspired that Odyssey style. I don't know.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love the Odyssey. It's just I've seen it so many times live. I'd like to see the other one. That's all. Or as I told you, I'd love to see Winter's Dream parts 1 and 2. That's what I'd love.
Or The Edge of Forever. Like,
there you go.
They're, quite frankly, like, I know that some people may have mixed feelings about what seems to be the trend in metal nowadays of bands performing classic albums.
Hey, it seems like Winter's Dream is only 8 minutes total.
Yeah, I know. It's not that long.
And then Edge of Forever is 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
So when people start an encore chant, like one more song, I usually try to get like a 10 more songs chant going, because they're probably coming back out to play one more song. So we should let them, haggle us down.
Yeah.
Like, don't settle for less. Now with the Odyssey, right, maybe just the one song is fine. But, you could fit like 4 or 5 songs in there if you're doing a 30-minute encore.
Real quick, here's their albums in order. Symphony X, 94. Damnation Game, 95. Divine Wings, 96. Twilight, 98. New Mythology Suite, 2000. Odyssey, 2002. Paradise Lost, 2007. Icona Shit, 2011. And Underworld, 2015. So we're overdue, because if you look at these gaps, it was 1 year, 1 year, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 5 years, 4 years, 4 years. Now we're long overdue. They need to give us 2 albums.
They did mention that they were working on an album.
Yeah, I heard that the next edition of the Symphony X fan club, of which I am a member, or a legacy member at least, Demos and Rarities CD is going to be coming out soon.
Ooh, maybe I should look into joining. Actually, that reminds me, join our Patreon, and we will join the fan club as Podcast Them Down. There we go.
That's right. We will. And check this excellent shirt out. I could have gotten a polo shirt, but I didn't. This is embroidered, and it hurts if you don't wear an undershirt on your tender bosom.
Bosom. Church of the
You
Machine.
won't have that problem. You won't have that problem
Such
with
a
any of the
great song.
shirts and merch that you get at steelresolve.com. Just wanted to take a moment and encourage people to navigate over to steelresolve.com for any
Actually,
of your shirt needs.
I have bought the Fade to Black embroidered B-Star shirt from steelresolve.com, and my nips are unchafed from that thing.
Perfect.
It's nice and comfortable.
That's right.
That's good to hear.
steelresolve.com.
The official merch site of podcast.
I would like to say
Asimo.
that I am happy that they played the Odyssey, because I've only seen Symphony X twice, and I haven't seen them play it.
Oh, I wasn't unhappy. I was happy. It's just that I could have been more happy. Oh, speaking of being unhappy, the sound. So this has happened twice in a row now since I've seen Symphony X. For some reason, when there are not twice in a row, because I saw them open for someone.
It was Iced Earth.
No, a couple of years ago. After that.
Oh.
Tim.
They were at what's that place in Silver Spring?
Oh, the Fillmore.
The Fillmore. They opened for someone at the Fillmore. And
Coheed and Cambria.
Oh God.
No, I don't think it was that. And their sound was great there, but I believe they brought their sound guy. They have a sound guy, and they used him when we saw them in New Jersey, opening for Iced Earth, like you said, years and years ago before the kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And I apparently had the same sound guy. Like all the bands sounded great except for him. What, Mark?
You were standing in one of the worst parts of the soundstage for sound.
Yeah, but all the other bands sounded fine there.
It's because they were much less dense. Like, that's why Dave and I moved. Because we moved.
It was Overkill.
They opened one of the good sound spots.
They opened for Overkill in 2015.
Like the soundstage gets kind of bass trappy along the walls,
but it wasn't even it wasn't even bass. So it's you know, scooping the mids on the guitar, and you know, you make it a smiley face. Well, they made it a frowny face. It sounded like a band pass. It was. And this happened at another venue I was at too. With only Symphony X.
Where you were standing.
Yeah.
I did not experience it where I went to stand afterwards.
Okay. However, I've seen them sound exactly like they sounded in two different venues years apart when they had the same sound guy. I could have moved. That's a good point. But all the other bands sounded fine where I was. So, and by all the other bands, I mean Haken, because I didn't see the opener. Yes, but your point is taken. Your point is taken. Perhaps it's possible I'm mistaken, but I would also say it's very unlikely I'm mistaken.
Okay, it could be both.
Yeah, and but yeah, so like the other show we saw. With the terrible Symphony X sound was Warbringer. Sounded great. Symphony X brought their sound guy. Sounded terrible. Then the Tours sound guy came back for Iced Earth and it sounded great. I was standing in the same place the whole time. And that was at Roseland Ballroom.
Roseland Ballroom.
The only time I've been there.
Mark, what was the other time you saw Symphony X?
I saw Symphony X in... Cambridge, really, Massachusetts, in, I think, 2007.
Nice.
And that was when I got introduced to Epica. And Epica blew my mind because I'd never heard of symphonic metal before. Mm-hmm. So that was insane. But yeah, Basement of the Middle East.
So I looked it up. That was April 4th, 2008.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, Epica. It was just those two bands. Oh, what a great set! Oh, they played Egypt. I'm jealous. I love Egypt.
Yeah. That was a great fucking show.
Yeah, those were the years to see Symphony X, man.
So I actually went there with a friend. I did not have a credit card at the time. He had a credit card. So I was like, dude, you got to get us tickets online. I asked him if he could like buy the tickets, and he was like, yeah. And there was some miscommunication because he bought himself a ticket, didn't realize that I needed a ticket pre-ordered. We're like waiting in line to get into the venue.
Oh no! Oh, this is nerve-wracking.
I don't have a ticket.
Oh shit!
The show is sold out.
Oh no!
So like, I get up to the door guy, and he's like, tickets? And I was like, yeah, he's got them. And then he was like,
no, I don't.
Oh, I only have one. And I was like, well, fuck. People, like, 4 people behind us in line had an extra ticket that they sold me face value for cash.
Nice.
Oh, that's lucky. Here's the set list. Lucky. I would say this is a better set list than we saw. Oculus X Symphony intro tape. Set the World on Fire, The Live Lives, Domination, Serpent's Kiss. So all those we saw. Masquerade.
Great song.
Paradise Lost, Egypt, The Walls of Babylon, Inferno Unleash the Fire, Smoke and Mirrors, Sea of Lies, Revelation, Divus Pene X Tragoidia, and then The Divine Wings of Tragedy, and then the encore was Eve of Seduction and Of Sins and Shadows. That's a fucking set list right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm.
They must not have come on that tour too.
Must have. Or are you on setlist.fm?
Yes. So that
All right.
was, tour, Paradise Lost tour.
I know we saw them on that tour.
Yeah, but you know how they loop back? Yeah, so they came to Jack's.
Yeah.
It has the same set, so in November. Oh, no, the set's slightly different. 3 encore songs. They moved Sea of Lies. They added King of Terrors. I definitely remember seeing King of Terrors live.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Mike LePond's Monster Stomp. That's my enduring impression of that song, is he's like whopping his bass around in the middle of the stage. That's a great tune. That's the one about the Pit and the Pendulum, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I also remember one of the times I saw the Odyssey, they played it at Fletcher's in Baltimore. I was up front, and he goes, "Blood runs forever from the eye," and he like pulled his eye down and looked straight at me. I was like, "Eh." I also remember one of the Jack shows. You know, when I forgot what's that song where he goes, "She said," and he does the melisma. Burn forever. Yeah. So there was one
melisma. Way to go, Tim, with the
vocabulary.
Damn.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that since undergrad.
Well, I shouted out, "What did she say?" And he goes, "She said," you know, it was really funny once. I hate it when people yell stuff out, but the next time I saw that, someone else shouted something, and shut the fuck up.
What is that song called?
It's stuck in my head, but I haven't gotten to the chorus to know what the song is.
That song is in 13.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's meant for, like, it's about, you know, a witchy graveyard.
Called Wicked.
Bad luck. Wicked. There we go. Yeah. But it's in 13.
I never knew that. I
Or
never
13.
I never bothered counting.
Again, I read all of the deluxe edition super slipcase with expanded liner notes of the Odyssey.
You know, I have a special edition of the Odyssey, but I don't know that I've ever read the liner notes. So I'm going to see. I'm going to see if it's
you love
the
liner
expanded
notes.
one. I do love liner notes. That's why I spent hours upon hours upon hours working on the Eisenmore liner notes.
I know, but you appreciate them.
Yes, because I still buy CDs to this day.
Yeah, I just got a CD the other week.
I just buy records.
Well, that's why it makes me sad when I see bands releasing stuff digital only, or you know, I feel sad for Mark when they put something on cassette that should be on records.
It is cheaper to make cassettes, and the black metal scene really loves them.
They do.
I don't understand why.
We should do a limited edition Eisenmore cassette run and only make 66.6 cassettes.
Like, have it stop.
We just don't finish recording one of them.
I love it. I love it. That's brilliant.
After the 6th song. Oh, man. Yeah, cassettes are big now.
Do you have the capacity to play cassettes? Do you have the tape player?
I don't have the capacity to play CDs. I can only play records.
My car plays CDs.
What about you, Dave?
And so does my CD
player. Do you have a cassette player?
I don't have a cassette
CD
player.
So I have an old.
I
have an old boombox, a Sony boombox that'll play it. That's my only method of playing CDs. And I've thought, not CDs, cassettes. I've thought about buying a refurbished cassette player, like a hi-fi one, but I don't want to bother. Yeah, but I don't want to bother. Oh, so the mechanisms now are all crap. So, like CD players, you want to get it from when Japan was manufacturing very high quality stuff. So that's like 80s, 90s, early 90s. That's when my 2 CD players are from. Yes, I have 2 and Mark has none.
I actually recently bought an album that wasn't released digitally, and I had to buy like a USB DVD reader so I could rip it.
Just let me
like
know.
it.
I
like whatever whoever did
reason.
that. I like it.
Well, that was Bear McCreary's live version of the Battlestar Galactica soundtrack, which is actually another really good live album because he basically rearranged all of the main themes from the soundtrack score to be performed live in a more song-based setting.
By what kind of ensemble?
By an orchestra and rock band. Like the ensemble that he like records with, basically. Okay. So he's got like, you know, a full rock/metal band plus one of the most interesting and talented electric acoustic violinists I've ever listened to. He runs an acoustic violin through a whole bunch of effects and filters and has a phenomenal playing style and like a backing orchestra that also includes a lot of like, you know, more percussive elements because he does a lot of like the tribal percussive and like kind of Eastern percussive vibes.
Wild. I have never heard of this.
It is phenomenal. I love the way he writes.
That sounds to me like a licensing issue. It's easier to keep track of physical, mechanical royalties than it is for digital's mechanical royalties. But that's just
well, it's on streaming. He just didn't like release it on Bandcamp or something, and I wanted my flack.
Ah, yes. Right. That's a different episode. We should do an episode about FLAC. Is FLAC better at 9624 or at 44.116? Which is I hope the answer is 44.116 because if not, I have to re-rip everything. Get DVD versions.
Oh man.
Anyway. What were we talking about?
That Symphony X show.
Yes. Yeah, so I love Symphony X. I'm going to see them again.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by their whole stage vibe, like commanded the stage after all this time, and by how Russell Allen just still fucking has it.
Oh, yeah,
after
absolutely.
so long.
Absolutely,
and, like,
he does.
If you kind of look back, like some of the videos online from like 6 or 8 years ago are kind of like iffy. And like, obviously he doesn't have the range he had 20 years ago, right? Like nobody has the range they had 20 years ago. But like they're
especially
so
not
polished.
James Labrie.
Got him.
Zing.
The way they worked the crowd, and especially like during songs, just fucked around with the crowd. Like there was just a lot of comfort with each other, and you know, definitely having rehearsed it a little bit and just done it at a bunch of shows, sure, but still, like the queuing off of each other was really impressive. He needs to get rid of the sunglasses that he picked up when he was in Adrenaline Mob.
I agree. Well, I remember at Fillmore, he had a shit. What's that guy's name? He played Walter in The Big Lebowski. Is Dan O'Connor on Roseanne?
Yeah, John Goodman.
He had a John Goodman vibe. I didn't notice that this time.
He's in excellent shape right now.
Did I
very trim.
Did I tell you my meeting Symphony X story? It's very brief. Back in the day at Jack's, you just, like after the show, you just go around back and wait for them to try to get to their bus, and then you'd harass them.
Good luck. Sign my shit.
Yeah. And so I met many bands that way. So
oh yeah.
When Russell Allen and Michael Romeo came out, everyone swarmed them. And then I noticed Michael Piniella, the keyboardist, walking, and no one cares. So I was like, you're amazing. Oh, you know, I just showered him with praise. He's like, oh, thanks. And he's like disappeared. And then same for Mike LaPond. You know, everyone just wants to talk to Romeo and Alan. So and while we're on the subject of Michael Romeo, what frustrates me is how simple he makes everything look. Because I don't know if you've ever tried to learn a Symphony X part, but like I can't even do the rhythm parts for most of those songs. There are a handful. I can probably play of Sins and Shadows. But like I don't know. I was trying to learn something off the New Mythology Suite, and it's just like I can't do this. I cannot do this.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he also, I've never seen a guitarist look as bored as he does on stage. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean bored in the sense of like the way a monk is bored in the midst of meditation. Like he is not trying.
He definitely has resting guitar face. So Tim, you were in a better position to see this, but I don't think he changed the guitars.
I did not notice him change guitars.
Like, and that's also, it's odd for a band that has gotten to their level to not have like a guitar tech who's like at least tuning things in between. Like this dude's just up there, he's tuning his own guitar. He doesn't have like a dude handing him a different guitar and a different tuning with different string gauges for every song. Like he just has written Symphony X on one guitar. And he's just playing that guitar. And
yep, and I'm pretty sure it's the same guitar he uses in his solo project. So
yeah,
I'm looking up
his solo projects are both great, and they're essentially Symphony X albums.
They are. They're like slightly more futuristic, and that's about it.
That's pretty cool. I was looking up the other bands that played with them at Jack's back in the day.
Oh no!
In May of 2008. Guess who was opening them? It was May of 2008, Tim.
May. I'm looking at the November show. I guess they played twice that year.
They played twice that year.
It's cheating to look it up if he asks you to guess.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, they played with Turasas in November. So,
those were separate days.
Yeah, I'm going to guess. Shadows Fall, because they played there every other week, and Nevermore. Because they also played there.
No, this was not 2004. It's 2008.
Oh, I was off by a couple years. All right, lay it on me.
It was Into Eternity.
I was going to guess Into Eternity because I saw Into Eternity open for every show that I went to.
I remember that. That happened
for Dream Theater. They opened for fucking Dragon Force. They opened for Symphony. Like they were the first band on every tour package.
That happened at Jack's too. I'm glad you had the same experience.
I mean, it was the entire Northeast corridor. I feel like what happened is they came out from Regina, and we're like, well, we're out here now, boys. So let's just do the loop, and then.
Well, that U.S. visa is expensive.
Such big tours, though.
Oh, they were like huge tours, but like seriously, they were just cruising up every single European band that came over or large American band doing a U.S. tour. They were on it, doing that circuit.
Did they ever headline?
I've never seen Into Eternity headline. Although I will say this: if Stu Block is doing new Into Eternity stuff, I'll go see them. For sure, intentionally.
I never really listened to them at all because, like, the opening, they never grabbed me in their opening sets, so I just never chased it down. And then I was kind of like, just laughing at how often I was seeing. I've seen them more than I've seen any other band.
I've seen them.
I should have guessed Into Eternity. They were the other band that always played there. Fuck.
Yeah, they were. I'm trying to. Who was
Did Symphony X and Nevermore tour together?
I don't think so.
Ooh, I don't know.
Fuck, that would be a good show.
Buried in Oblivion is my favorite Into Eternity album. I think it's awesome. I don't want to say it's awesome.
Maybe I'll have to listen to them. I'll have to give them a shot.
There's the final 3 songs on Buried in Oblivion are thematically, musically linked. So if you're going to listen to anything, I would say the last 3 tracks on Buried in Oblivion.
I do love that. I love reprises and callbacks.
And that in that case, you will love those 3 songs.
All right, any final thoughts on Symphony X?
Yes, we got to see a drum solo, which is something I rarely appreciate in the live setting. I think drum solos are stupid. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear somebody hit a bunch of drums really fast. Because usually it's just that. Someone hitting a bunch of drums.
It's been a while since I've seen a drum solo.
Yeah, they are usually terrible.
Yeah, but not this one. Jason Rulo is fucking amazing. And this is something... So I used to measure myself against Symphony X's album performances to be like, am I here? Can I play? And it's like, I mastered the Odyssey. Cool, I'm there. And I'm feeling like all big about myself. Go out and see Symphony X like a couple months later. He's playing a million different things beyond what's on the album. Like, the guy is fantastic. I loved seeing this drum solo from him. It was tasteful. It was like effusive and exorbitant where it was supposed to be. Like, A+, and it's very rare that you get to see something like this as well integrated into their set as they did it. They did it, in the middle of Set the World on Fire? I want to say.
They did a couple things in the middle of songs where it was like an almost 5 or 10 minute interlude, and then they would just finish the song, and it was like, oh yeah, they were playing that song. And they didn't finish it.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that was a good drum solo. I'm gonna agree.
My other takeaway from the show was that Russell Allen is incredibly charismatic when he's holding the microphone, and when he puts it down, he kind of just dad dances around the stage. And like
he does the like, I'm kind of playing an air guitar move.
Yeah, like he's not like fully committed to it. He's just kind of like it was so funny watching him move around, like between like Michael and everyone else, like just kind of like hanging out.
Yep. I also love all the I had multiple thoughts at once. My pet peeve for the longest time has been when a band has a keyboardist and you can't hear it. So I did complain about the sound, but you could hear the keyboardist. So I was happy about that.
100%.
Yep. And, Mike Piniella is someone you want to hear too. Some bands you don't really, you're not missing much, but Mike, I want to hear Mike Piniella. And then
another thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure who was responsible for the composition of this, but like there was a full on brand new overture that they did for the 25th anniversary tour.
Yep.
That was kind of an amalgamation of not all, but many of their classic themes of their big popular songs. That was really well done and was a good inspiration for our own 25th anniversary tour with Burning Shadows coming up any year now. We'll be doing that.
3 years, I guess.
Yeah. Boy.
So the other thing I've always loved about Symphony X is live 4-part vocal harmonies. Always great.
Yeah.
And there weren't so many this time because they didn't do Of Sins and Shadows, but there were plenty of them.
Yeah, there were plenty of them. They gave it their all. They landed maybe 95% of them.
Yeah.
There's some high up stuff that they recorded 20 years ago. Like, I'm not faulting them. And they did tastefully backing track some of the Russell Allen vocals when he's basically overdubbing himself in the studio, and they picked, the right parts to back and then let him do like the accent stuff, for the third rendition of the chorus kind of deal.
That's a bunch of cheating cheaters, as Matt and I discussed at length in an episode that hasn't aired as of recording, but probably, I don't know. If it's not out, it's about to be out. So, yeah, a bunch of cheating cheaters.
I don't know, because I when they I can't remember what song it was, but when they started, I was like, oh, I wonder how they're going to do the outro, because like the third time he goes through that bit, he does like a lot of kind of like almost like those soul hits where he just like says a couple of the words, but like, you know, draws them out and stuff while the original chorus is going in the background.
Yeah.
And I thought they executed it correctly.
I wonder what the term for that is, so I can pull that out in a future episode. All right, so I just wanted to close with, unless anyone has anything else, Baltimore Soundstage tips. Did you know you can validate your parking?
Yes.
And pay much, much less? Yeah, a lot of people do not know that, as evidenced by everyone walking right by the validation machine. On your way out, there's a scanner right by the door. Scan your parking ticket. It knocks a ton of money off, but not as much as if you use, I think it's Spot Hero. Not a sponsor, but maybe you should be Spot Hero. I think I should double check. Any parking lot app that wants to sponsor Podcast Them Down will gladly have you. But let's see, SP Spot Hero. Yes, it is Spot Hero. If you use Spot Hero, you can park in the Harbor Garage, which is catty corner from the soundstage, for way cheaper, and you can get in and out.
Wow.
So you could show up early, see the opening band, drive somewhere during Haken, and then come back in time for Symphony X, and only pay once. So,
why would we not just walk over to Fogo during Haken?
Oh, Tim, good question. Because I don't want meat sweats during Symphony X.
Yeah, this is a good point. You can get their vegetarian menu. We already discussed this in another Eisenmore chat.
I don't want veggie sweats. We should go to Fogo de Chao sometime. Also not a sponsor, but if you want to, let's record a live podcast at Fogo de Chao while we're eating meats. I love it.
We're all going to need to wear either headset microphones or very sensitive lavs.
And then we can expense it. We can expense it to the Podcast Them Down business account.
Yeah, join Patreon and you can join us. We'll need the meat tier. Ooh, that works. Meat tier, meat.
Oh, no, it's the meet and greet.
Sausage.
Oh, there it is. The meet and greet.
Sirloin.
Is that your meat tier?
Yeah, well, it depends on which meat tier you're going to.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I'm gonna leave in all the heavy breathing. This is gonna be during that episode. All right. All right, well, that's it. Until next time, keep it metal in 13/8. Damn.